Hey everybody, it's Joe here, and it's Wednesday, which means, wait for it. What's up, GaFUMCk? What is going on? Godfrey first. Hey, first of all, what song is that from? Do you guys know? I know it's stuck in my head. I'm sure it's from a game show or something from the 70s. But I can't put my finger on it. I want to say The Dating Game, but that doesn't make sense because I really didn't watch The Dating Game. But let me know if you know what that's from. Okay, so we are going to talk about a couple of announcements that's going on, a couple activities going on here at church. And then I'm going to do my little spiel that I do every week, my little devotion type thing. And then we're going to go harass Barb and Karen in the office. And that's it. So first of all, here's some announcements. I got to talk about GPS and the Polar Plunge. We are once again going to participate in the Polar Plunge. This will be our 6th year doing so. But they are doing it different this year. They are not having the big live events at the different lakes around the state because of the pandemic. So they are doing a plunge at home option. We, though, are going to do a plunge at church option. We're going to buy a couple of inflatable pools and put them out in the field and fill them with ice cold water and plunge in those pools. We are going to do it still on the regular date that we normally would, February 27th at noon. If you are a youth who want to participate, you need to contact me as soon as you can so we can get you registered. Each plunger must still raise $100 like we normally do. All of the money goes to Southern Illinois Special Olympics. Our very own Matt Rothy and Sammy Newberry have participated in the Special Olympics. So we want to make sure the money stays in our region and goes to that worthwhile cause. So we still have to raise $100. You still get the Polar Plunge sweatshirt and all that stuff like we were going to the beach, but we're going to go to our field instead. So on Saturday, February 27th at noon will be the plunge. Everybody else, we need money. We need donations. If you want to make a donation, you can, I'll send a link out. It'll be in Barb's emails at some point. When we get a little bit closer, a link where you can go to our team page and put a donation online if you want. If you want to send in money or a check to Barb here at the office or to me here at the office, we'll welcome that as well. But again, every plunger must raise $100 in order to plunge. We have set our goal again for $2,000. So simple math is you need 20 plungers to reach $100 or 10 plungers to make $200 or 15 plungers to make, wait, I don't know, I'm gonna mess myself up. Anyway, so our goal is $2,000. Again, youth, if you want to participate, I need to know as soon as possible because we will still dress up. We'll still get team t-shirts, so we have to buy those. And there's still going to be music playing, and we'll have a PA system and all that. It'll be just as fun, but no beach. All right? So looking forward to that. Members of the congregation, again, if you want to help donate, we welcome your donation. If you want to come out on the 27th of February and watch all the fun and games, you're more than welcome to come out, but social distance, mask, all that fun stuff will be in effect, but it'll be outside. So that's Polar Plunge. The other thing I want to talk about, worship. We are still online worship for now. Church Council met on Monday, and this was one of the topics we talked at length about. We are on the verge of being in the new guidelines where we can start having inline worship again, but they're limiting it to 25 people or 25%, whichever is less. Back in the summer, when we came back in person, it was 25%. But now it's 25 people or 25% or less based on the states and the bishop's recommendations, strong recommendations. So in our discussion, we're not sure having 25 people in worship is going to be right for us. So we may still hold off. But right now, pencil this in. Pencil, not pen, pencil. February 21st. It's the first Sunday of Lent as our first in-person day. And we'll get more information out to you to confirm all that. But we're shooting for February 21st as our first in-person worship date together again. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. So keep that in mind. Again, it's in pencil, no pens. Okay, the other thing we talked about at length is the survey. We've talked about it for the last couple of weeks, and we've put it in the newsletter. We're just about finished with the survey. We've made all kinds of changes and corrections and additions and subtractions and all that. We've sent it to, there's a team of 8 leadership type people that we sent it to give it the once over or twice over. And so together we've put what we think is a pretty comprehensive and very overwhelming survey together that you should be getting next week. When you get the survey, first of all, it's being mailed out to all the members. It's not going to be emailed out. It's going to be mailed out. So if you don't get mail for some reason, let us know and we'll get a copy to you somehow. But we want a hard copy so it's better for us to track. So when you get it, I want you to pray over it. Read it with an open mind. There are some things that are pretty vague on purpose. There are some things that are pretty specific on purpose. So look over it and give us your feedback as best you can and as honestly as you can. Somewhere in the middle of February, right about the time that we're going to be back in person around the beginning of Lent, we're also going to offer Zoom meetings and small in-person listening post meetings where we can talk about the survey, we can talk about, answer any questions that you have about the survey, clarify what we're looking for. What we don't want to do at this point is debate items on the survey. That's not the purpose of the listening post and all that yet. That time will come. But this is just to kind of get a gauge. We're taking the temperature of the congregation to see where we are, where we want to go as a church family. Okay, so look for that information coming up. Pastor Jay is going to have some more information in his newsletter. So look for that about meetings and how to sign up. If you want to, you don't have to participate in those meetings, by the way. It's if you need additional clarification on stuff. If you can't make it to any of those meetings and you still want to talk about it with somebody, give us a call. You can talk to Pastor Jay or me or Barb or I don't want to give their names out, but the leadership type people that I mentioned, if they give me the okay, I can hook you up with them too and talk about it. Or you can just talk amongst your friends. We want to get an honest church gauge on where we are. All right, so that's the survey. That also leads me into what I'm talking about this week. The post-quarantine church. I've been reading this book, as you know, for the last couple of weeks. I'm trying to highlight a chapter a week. And the first week we talked about, are we a church in our community or a church for our community? And I think we all can agree that we want to be a church for our community. But have we been? Are we? Some of the survey questions addresses that. And these are our community. Last week's chapter was about technology. And I know technology is hard to embrace. I've had a difficult time myself, personally, embracing some of the technology. And I know many of you have too. Some of you wish we would do more. Some of you think we're doing too much. So technology is here to stay. So we have to learn to embrace it. This week it goes back to the community again. And it talks about reconnecting with the community near your church. Now I can tell you that God put us at 1100 Airport Road for a reason. I don't know exactly what the reason is, and you may not know what the reason is. We can probably guess, but there is a reason why God decided to build his kingdom at 1100 Airport Road. It's because we have people around us. One of the reasons we have people around us. And I know when we were first here, we would go over to the neighborhood behind us and go door to door. We hung flyers. We handed out stuff about VBS and music programs and worship and everything else we were doing. I can't remember the last time we did that. Can you? It's been a while, I know. And not just that neighborhood, but neighborhoods around us. We did when we were over at the other property. There's all kinds of places around here. Guys, within a 10-minute drive, there are thousands of people around here. When was the last time we reached out to them? We've reached out through Facebook and we've reached out through email and other things, but when was the last time we personally reached out to the community? Certain ministries maybe sooner or more recently, but not as a whole, I don't think we have. So here's where the survey ties into this. There were churches when the pandemic hit and everything became virtual, they recognized that there were needs in their community that weren't going to be met. There was a church in Tennessee that bought thousands of dollars in small gift cards from local merchants and handed them out to people in the community. There was a church in Missouri that opened its large fellowship hall for small meetings and birthday parties and things like that. That's also on the survey about it, if that's something we want to do with our property down the road. Our sanctuary sits during the week. Of course, again, this is post-pandemic or post-quarantine. This is down the road. There was a church in Georgia that turned a portion of their facility into a free laundromat for community residents. I don't know if we need something like that, but what are we doing for our community? Now, how did these churches and others decide on the opportunities to connect with their communities? Simple. They asked. And that's what we're doing with the survey. They asked the people what they needed, and the church listened. So when you're looking over your surveys, if there's some things that you want from us that aren't on there, add them. Write it in there. Put them in there. We're asking what you want. So be sure to let us know. We can't fill the needs if we don't know what they are. We can guess, but if we don't know for sure, we're going to just like throwing darts at a dartboard. Now, some of you may be able to hit the bullseye, but most of us are like, ooh, and just not going to know. Okay, so there's some great information on this about where we were prior. They talk about the slow erosion and compared it to beaches in Florida, how when you're at the beach and it slowly erodes, you don't really notice it. It's like watching your kids grow up. When you're with them, you don't notice that they're growing up. But then when you get a snapshot or somebody else sees them, wow, you've really grown. And the beach is, wow. If you go once a year, wow, that's really eroded. So in churches, the slow erosion in most congregations was tied to the drift in their outward focus. Most churches had begun using their resources of time, people, ministries, and money to take care of themselves. It was a gradual process. It was not as if church leaders and members decided one day they would cut back their efforts to reach the community. It was a more of a year-by-year process of replacing, listen to this, replacing the Great Commission with a great complacency. As the church turned inward, its connections to the community gradually washed away. So it ties back to the first chapter. Do we want to be a church in our community? Do we just want to be a church at 1100 Airport Road? Or do we want to be a church for our community? So when you get your survey, be honest with it. If you want to be inward, if you want to be complacent, that's fine. Let us know. We can be a church like that if you want. But be sure that the ministry, what God has called us to do, is being met. All right, so that's enough of me. Off my pulpit, put my mask on. Would you like my new black mask? black paper mask instead of the blue? I do too. All right. I felt like Mr. Rogers right there. Don't you like it, boys and girls? I do too. He's the greatest. Okay, so we're gonna go in and see. So, hey, there's Barb and Karen right there. Of course, working very hard like normal.
We are.
I gotta show you this first. Look at the snow out there. Holy Moses. That's gonna be the. That's right, because he posted a picture of snow that he missed it, right? So this is probably gonna be the most snow we get.
Karen says it's supposed to be 2 inches.
It's supposed to be 2 inches.
That's what they said. The latest forecast was 2 inches.
All right.
We'll see.
We'll see. Just everybody be careful. All right. So do we have anything that we want to talk about, Barb? Any other announcements?
No.
Talked about worship. What about the financial reports? Are they all
Those
still
will go out this week.
Those will go out this week. Newsletter comes
Newsletter's
out.
going to go out hopefully by Thursday or Friday.
Perfect. Karen, anything from?
Nope.
No. It wasn't a surprise to come in and see these two just standing here doing nothing.
We were checking something.
Good,
We
great.
were checking Facebook.
Oh, we were just checking Facebook. That's
The church Facebook.
Yeah, the church Facebook.
the church Facebook. Right. Right.
She's getting ready to go home. She's done.
Karen is done. Karen's been working for hours. All right, so that is our edition, this week's edition of What's Up GaFUMCk. Remember, you should be getting your survey soon, and pray about it, talk about it, be honest with your feedback. Online worship Sunday at 10 o'clock. If you're online at 10 o'clock Sunday, you can comment with everybody else that's there at the time. If you can't be on at 10 o'clock, that's fine. You can watch it at any time, and you can comment anytime that you want. That's the cool thing about it. It's always there. You can't, I slept in late and I missed it. Nope, it's always there. So we look forward to having you participate in our online worship whenever it's possible for you. That's this week's edition of What's Up GaFUMCk. Blessings, Godfrey first.